Welcome back to the channel, subscribe if you are new. Airbus is moving ahead with the launch of its next commercial aircraft and hopes to introduce it within the next 5 years. But with all aircraft programs enjoying significant success, why are they moving ahead with a new endeavour so soon? Well, talk of Airbus moving ahead with this new commercial airliner follows reports in June from the Airbus CEO emphasising the importance of innovation in the business and stating that a successor to the A320 family will be required. Shock horror there. The single-aisle market is also one that's fiercely competitive, but the importance of developing a new iteration cannot be overstated. Aviation Week led that reporting, indicating the manufacturer was already moving ahead with a firm timeline for the eventual release of the latest iteration. Current forecasts showing that the selection of an engine expected to occur sometime in 2027. Following this, Airbus would then go on to launch the program in 2030, marking the beginning of a new decade with a fresh new face. And while the launch is a step in the right direction for the manufacturer, it doesn't mean that it will be fully ready to begin deliveries. They are expecting the new plane to enter service sometime in 2037 or 2038, so we're still approximately 12 years away, but they're going to be a pretty fascinating 12 years to follow. And I must say that these timeframes are with a massive asterisk next to them and subject to change. Of all the issues we've seen across the last few years, one of the biggest things I think we should take is the inability to meet deadline. And it's not like that wasn't the case in the 2000s and even before then, but certainly now we live in a very different world. So these timeframes are fantastic to give us a bit of a picture on what Airbus is striving for, but it doesn't mean every single year will be accurate. They are at the very least intently focused in on innovation, attempting to understand through studies what the structure of the next commercial aeroplane will look like, let alone how it'll be powered to maximize efficiency and how it's going to align with government regulations to operate sustainably. One of the primary reasons among many for Airbus's launch of a new single-aisle program is the desire to replace its existing series of aircraft. The A320neo was launched at the beginning of the 2010s, with its first flight occurring in 2014, its first delivery in 2016, so therefore in 2025 this program still features new engines and still retains a youthful nature for most operators. I mean, airlines are still ordering this plane for deliveries in the 2030s. It's going to be around for a very much while longer. But it is an aircraft that is in such high demand that while its backlog is colossal, many airlines looking forward will have had the plane for 2 decades by the time that a new successor comes around. There will also be some that will only have just had their order for the Neo model fulfilled. That is normal in the circle of life for an airplane program. So, while deliveries will continue, it doesn't mean that a replacement will not be required, especially with technological advancements. While this again assumes that Airbus can stick to the outlined timeframe, which history has proven to be unlikely, airlines will still want a replacement option, either to order it formally or actually have it enter into operations as soon as possible. Additionally, the single-aisle market is vital for not just airlines but also manufacturers, and if a new innovative product comes along that fulfills the requirements of said airline, they'll have no hesitation in purchasing it. Being first to offering that product is huge. The single-aisle market is, like I said, not just critical for airlines, but I want to put greater emphasis on the aircraft manufacturers for a moment who go on to build the planes. Airbus competes with Boeing in this regard. The A320 family has been challenging the 737 family for decades with multiple different iterations. For Boeing, yes, the last half decade has been a challenge unlike any other. And according to data, we've seen Airbus outpace its competitor in orders and deliveries. While Boeing's 737 MAX program experiences signs of improvement following years of turmoil, the A320neo family, yes, it's had a few hiccups along the way, but it has operated really problem-free, and its production has remained steady, at least much more steady compared to its counterpart. The 737 MAX problems were spurred on by Boeing's eagerness to get its new engine model to market, not solely to please customers, but also remember to combat the sales and success of the A320neo model. Therein lies the exact reason of why it is so important to be calculated, put the work in beforehand, and try not lose out to ground on your competitor, for you can be catching up. In that race, Boeing cut corners that are still hurting it to this day, with an overall cultural change required and hundreds of millions only being invested in the last 12 months to establish better quality control processes. All those struggles, alongside many other unnamed factors, meant that Airbus has been in recent years able to claim the title as the largest manufacturer and certainly the most successful. Additionally, this has extended towards the development of other initiatives. It's just pure logic that without having as many problems and as a weaker financial position, greater emphasis can be placed on the future. While Boeing has struggled to certify remaining units in the MAX program, Airbus has launched derivatives and is progressing now pretty formally with the development of other endeavours. That doesn't mean that Boeing is not doing the same, but like I've said, the same amount of resources just can't be dedicated there. What's next? Well, all in all, the development of a new single-aisle plane to replace the A320neo, with a launch expected in the next 5 years, is part of their latest phase of commercial flying. Airbus cannot afford to take its foot off the gas, and the development of that new single-aisle plane will be key to ensuring their own long-term success, evident as we move into the 2030s, 2040s, and 2050s. A timeline outlined by the CEO is a positive step in the right direction, with innovation at the forefront. But it doesn't again mean the timelines are accurate. More often than not, the launch of new programs encounters delays, whether it is due to maybe a problem emerging at the development stage or some challenges in certification. But Airbus has at least come forward and stated its intentions, which is more than what we had in the past. Now all eyes are going to continue to be placed on competitor Boeing, who still have half their variants in the MAX series uncertified, but they know focus needs to be placed on what their next move will be, albeit with their arms a little bit tied. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. It really does mean a lot. Take care, do be safe, and I'll see you in a couple of days right back here on GlobeTrotting.